with visible shock and anger, but controlled himself. The following morning, he intercepted Elizabeth during her walk and handed her a letter. In this lengthy missive, he addressed her charges directly. He explained his reasons for intervening in Bingley's affairs. He had genuinely believed Jane's affections were not deeply engaged, and he had wished to protect his friend from a potentially imprudent match, particularly given the often embarrassing behavior of her mother and younger sisters. Regarding Wickham, Darcy revealed the shocking truth. Wickham was a liar and a profligate, who had squandered the generous inheritance left to him by Darcy's father, attempted to elope with Darcy's own 15-year-old sister, Georgiana, solely for her fortune, and whose entire narrative was a fabrication designed to elicit sympathy and injure Darcy's reputation. Elizabeth read the letter with tumultuous emotions, disbelief, indignation, and then a dawning, crushing shame. She re-evaluated every encounter, every word. She recognized the truth in Darcy's observations about Jane's reserve and her family's conduct. She recalled inconsistencies in Wickham's story. The foundation of her prejudice crumbled, replaced by a painful awareness of her own blindness and misjudgment. She saw Darcy not as a monster of pride, but as a man wronged, protective of his sister and friend, perhaps proud, but certainly honorable. Returning to Longbourn, Elizabeth kept Darcy's revelations to herself. Later that summer, she accompanied her aunt and Uncle Gardiner on a tour of Derbyshire. Their travels took them near Pemberley, Darcy's magnificent estate. Assured by her aunt that Darcy was away, Elizabeth hesitantly agreed to visit. Pemberley itself, nestled harmoniously within a landscape of natural beauty, impressed her deeply, suggesting a taste refined rather than ostentatious. More profound was the testimony of Darcy's housekeeper, who spoke of him with genuine warmth and respect, praising his kindness as a master and brother. As they toured the grounds, Darcy himself unexpectedly arrived. Far from the proud, aloof man she remembered, he was surprisingly gracious, welcoming her and the Gardiners with warmth and treating them with effortless civility. He spoke of her family with politeness and introduced her to his shy, gentle sister, Georgiana, who clearly adored him. In these interactions, Elizabeth saw a Darcy utterly transformed, or rather, a Darcy she had utterly failed to perceive before. Her feelings underwent a rapid and profound shift, gratitude and respect blossoming into something warmer, deeper. This burgeoning understanding was shattered by dreadful news from Longbourn. Lydia, foolish and unrestrained, had eloped with Wickham. The family was thrown into disgrace and despair. Elizabeth was horrified, blaming herself for not exposing Wickham's true character. She confessed the truth about him to Darcy just before hastily departing Pemberley with the Gardiners. She believed any possibility of a future connection with Darcy was now irrevocably destroyed by her family shame. The ensuing weeks at Longbourn were filled with anxiety. Mr. Bennet traveled to London in a fruitless search, eventually returning defeated. Then a letter arrived from Mr. Gardiner. Lydia and Wickham had been found, and Wickham had agreed to marry Lydia in exchange for a settlement. The family, relieved but still stinging from the scandal, assumed Mr. Gardiner had borne the financial burden. After the hurried wedding, Lydia visited Longbourn, as brazen and unrepentant as ever. During her boastful chatter, she inadvertently let slip that it was Mr. Darcy, not Mr. Gardiner, who had found them, paid Wickham's considerable debts, purchased his commission, and effectively bribed him into marrying Lydia, all conducted in secret. Elizabeth was overwhelmed by this revelation. Darcy's quiet, generous intervention, undertaken for a family who had caused him little but vexation, and for the sister of a woman who had vehemently rejected him, spoke volumes of his true character and depth of feeling. Her gratitude was immense, her admiration profound, and her heart entirely lost. Soon after, Bingley returned to Netherfield, accompanied by Darcy. Bingley quickly resumed his courtship of Jane, his affection undiminished. Within days, encouraged by Darcy, he proposed, and a beaming Jane accepted. Longbourn was filled with joy, though Mrs. Bennet's elation was tempered by the continued presence of the still single Elizabeth. Their quiet happiness was disrupted by the formidable arrival of Lady Catherine de Bourgh, who descended upon Longbourn in a fury. Having heard rumors of an engagement between Darcy and Elizabeth, she demanded Elizabeth promise never to accept such an offer, citing Elizabeth's inferior birth and connections, and insisting Darcy was destined for her own daughter. Elizabeth, refusing to be intimidated, met Lady Catherine's arrogance with calm dignity and spirited independence, refusing to make any such promise. Lady Catherine departed, enraged, intending to dissuade her nephew. However, her report of Elizabeth's defiant spirit had the opposite effect. It gave Darcy hope that Elizabeth's feelings might have changed. He sought her out during one of their walks. This time, there was no pride, only humility and enduring affection. He spoke of his feelings, unchanged since his disastrous proposal, acknowledging his past arrogance. Elizabeth, her heart full, confessed how her own prejudices had blinded her, and how his subsequent actions, particularly concerning Lydia, had completely overturned her opinion and won her deepest gratitude and love. With misunderstandings cleared and hearts open, they became engaged. Mr. Bennet, initially skeptical, gave his consent only after Elizabeth assured him of her genuine affection and respect for Darcy. Mrs. Bennet, upon learning of Darcy's wealth, transitioned from stunned silence to ecstatic celebration. And so, the Bennet family, once beset by anxieties, saw two of its daughters marry not merely for security, but for deep, mutual love and understanding. Jane and Bingley settled near Pemberley, their gentle spirits finding contentment together. Elizabeth and Darcy, residing at Pemberley, embarked on a life of shared intelligence, respect, and affection. Elizabeth learned to temper her judgment, Darcy to moderate his reserve. Through trials of Pride and Prejudice, they had found not just partners, but equals, their union a testament to the power of growth, understanding, and the transformative nature of true regard.